Greetings, my fellow decrepits, invalids, and other sick people. I hope you're doing well today and that you're fighting the good fight. So today I want to finally take some time to talk about my trip down to California to see the chronic fatigue specialist, talk about how it went and what I learned. But before we do, if you enjoy the content we make on this channel revolving around chronic fatigue and other illnesses and trying to manage our health as naturally as possible and understand what fitness looks like in that context, then please feel free and smack that like button, ring-a-ding-ding that notification bell, and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. So without further ado, let's get into it. Quick disclaimer. Probably goes without say that I am not a doctor, but I just want to remind everyone that anything I talk about in this video is not medical advice. I am just simply one guy sharing his story and his experiences. Thank you. So first of all, why did I go down to California in the first place? Was the medical field in Washington State not good enough? No, of course they're good enough. It was just my doctor simply we did some research together, and he found a clinic down in California that happens to specialize specifically in chronic fatigue, which is the condition we think I have. And so he said, hey, you know what, let's give it a shot if you're willing, and let's go down there and see what they have to say. So that's what we did. We went down there. The trip getting down there was a little difficult for me. My mom was very gracious and she drove me down. And so it was a good trip, just very tiring, long days in the car. And it took a lot more out of me than I would have hoped for just sitting in a car. But basically what I learned from my doctor on a very surface level is that she gave me a kind of general understanding of what they think chronic fatigue is and how it affects our body. So after getting there, I realized that the trip down there may have been tiring for me because chronic fatigue, they've noticed when they've done like MRI scans on people with chronic fatigue, they find that your nervous system, specifically in your brain, but elsewhere in your body, is very inflamed, and that your nerves are just kind of like on ultra high alert. They're super like, and basically what they're doing as the treatment plan is to try and reduce inflammation within your nervous system. So what that means is that for anyone dealing with chronic fatigue like myself or maybe you, that when you're in situations that are more stimulating, it can make your symptoms worse. And so, for example, when I was in the car driving down to California, you see all kinds of cars going down the road. There's all kinds of noises. You're going 60 miles an hour. There's just a lot of stimulation. And so after a few hours, it starts to wear you out and your body starts to not feel as good because your body is already overstimulated. And so adding any kind of extra stimulation makes your symptoms worse. Now, she also talked about a little bit how chronic fatigue and something like long COVID can be a little similar, and how if you happen to be watching this and dealing with long COVID, then perhaps you want to try some of these things as well, because I guess there's supposedly some similarities between the two, and it all comes back to that inflammation in the body. So let's get into some of those ways that we can deal with that inflammation. So method number one that my doctor recommended is kind of a combination of two things. It's a combination of pacing and true rest. Now, what pacing is, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's not, well, it's not walking back and forth in the hallway.
Well, duh.
But pacing is looking at your body, at your routine, and understanding your limits. Understanding that if I do this, I'm going to get tired. Understanding that if I push too far past this point, my symptoms are going to get worse. And so she talked about keeping a journal, diary, even just simply like watching the patterns in your life and understanding at this time of day I'm exhausted. After I do this activity, I'm out of energy. And so really kind of learning your body and your symptoms and what causes them to flare up. So a lot of that is personal reflection and just keeping mental notes of how your body is doing throughout the day and throughout the week, and using that information to come up with a better game plan and a better understanding of how to respond to different situations. Now, the second piece of that she said goes hand in hand let me say too, for chronic fatigue specifically, she said this is probably the most important thing that you can do to help treat your symptoms. So pacing, and then the piece that goes with that is the concept of true rest. Now, this was really interesting to me. What true rest is, she has me lay down in my bed, get all comfortable, and then I take some noise-canceling headphones, and I also put on a blinder over my eyes, and also shut off all the lights in the room. Make sure there's no background noise, just like complete silence and complete darkness. And the whole point of that is you're reducing any kind of stimulation that can be going on anywhere in your environment. And it's allowing your body to shut down as completely as possible for 10 to 15 minutes. And so I've actually really been enjoying this since I've been back. It can be a little boring after a few minutes because there's like literally nothing going on. But when you think about it, in our modern world, we are stimulated constantly through our media, our TVs, through our phones. We're constantly getting messages and emails. Everything is just constant stimulation. And so really what this technique is, it's just giving your body a chance to get a break from everything. Like, let's just shut down so my eyes don't have to process anything. My ears don't have to process anything. Because she said, what's funny is I believe it was around 40% of, or our brain uses up about 40% of our energy. And so, which is a lot, compared to when you think about how physical our lives are, that the brain uses up like close to half of that just by thinking and processing things. That's insane. And so that's really what this technique is it's giving your body a chance to shut down and recover. And she described it as a gas tank, and that if when I was healthy, I may have had 40 gallons of gas in the tank. Right now, I may have like 2 gallons in the tank. And she said, what we're doing with the true rest is you're trying to give your body an actual chance to recover and to bounce back. And so by incorporating true rest, it's allowing your body a true time of healing to allow it to slowly, the theory is to slowly build up my gas tank again, so that maybe eventually I can have 3 gallons or 4 gallons or 5 gallons of gas. And you're just kind of gradually trying to increase your workload tolerance. So that's really the idea with true rest and pacing. Like I said, I've been enjoying it. I wouldn't say I've had any drastic improvement yet, but I've only been doing it for about 2 weeks. But yeah, I like it a lot. She said this is probably the most important piece of trying to recover from chronic fatigue. And if you're going through anything right now, honestly, I would recommend giving it a shot. I think this is the approach that I've taken with my health this year. I'm at the point where I've been unwell for so long that I'm trying all kinds of things that a year and a half ago I probably never would have even thought about trying. And so my encouragement, I guess, would be that if you're going through something, hey, you know what, give it a shot. Take 15 minutes of your day, shut off all the lights, put on some headphones, noise-canceling headphones. Don't listen to music, just like complete silence. And some blinders over your eyes, and then just sit there. And I think that our bodies really need that time to rest, and we don't give it to ourselves enough anymore. All that to say, I think it's worth a shot, and it's something that maybe you should try. All right, so method number 2 is, there's always got to be something for the diet, doesn't there? Can't I just eat cookies and be healthy?
Cookie! Nom, 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 oh, nom, nom, nom.
But no, so my doctor recommended me going on the Mediterranean diet, which on a base level breaks down to things like fruits, veggies, whole grains, nuts, seeds, seafood, and lean proteins. And then they want you to stay away from things like processed foods, sugars, and red meats. I think it's a lot of it's the basic stuff that we all kind of think of when we're thinking about eating healthy. But anyway, I'll link an article that kind of breaks down what the Mediterranean diet is, if anyone's interested in reading more about it. And in the last couple of weeks on our Facebook page too, I've been posting a few of the meals that my wife and I have been having for dinner. and as we've been trying to incorporate more of the Mediterranean diet into our lifestyle. So we're not doing perfect, but we're trying out some cool new foods, and it's been fun. So, but the reason she recommended the Mediterranean diet goes back to the inflammation thing. So a lot of the foods in the Mediterranean diet are more anti-inflammatory. So everything comes back down to trying to reduce that inflammation in the nervous system. And so specifically, I know fruits and veggies have a ton of antioxidants that really work to just, calm down the body and to heal us. I mean, we're all supposed to be eating our fruits and veggies anyways. I think we know that. So, I went to a doctor so that she could tell me to eat healthy, so I can tell you so you don't have to. So, but yeah, so that's what I'm trying. Like I said, I'll probably keep posting on occasion some stuff on our Facebook page to show you what we're eating and the kinds of things that we've been enjoying, So, but I guess to list a couple things, recently my wife has made some falafel waffles, and it's falafel that you throw into a cast iron, and you make a waffle out of it. Throw some tzatziki sauce on top, and it's super good. Been doing whole grains, like I said, I think is a big key when it comes to bread. So we've been doing sourdough bread because that's whole grain, and throwing on lettuce, tomato, feta cheese. Although you're supposed to go light on dairy, I will say, on the Mediterranean diet. But we're doing that. Tonight, my wife right now, she's making some quinoa, which is a great substitute for rice. Honestly, quinoa is amazing. We're doing some quinoa with some different tomatoes, avocado, beans, nuts, all kind of mixed into like a big kind of, I don't know. I'm thinking of a Baja bowl. What is that? Chipotle or something like that. But something like that, just healthier. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight. But yeah, anyway, I'll kind of share some things. I'm having fun trying to figure out new things to eat. And so anyway, if you're going through something, maybe consider following a Mediterranean diet and see if it can help your health. All right, method number 3 that my doctor, she actually briefly mentioned this. This is actually something I've been more researching on my own a little bit, but she mentioned it and that it could have some benefits, so I thought I'd talk about it briefly. And that is the concept of grounding, which is, it sounds kind of weird, but basically you just go stand on the earth.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So you take off your shoes and socks, put your bare feet on the earth, not concrete or anything, but like actual dirt or grass or something like that. And there's basically some magnetism, the magnetic field of the earth has some kind of energy that they've kind of measured now. When the human body stands on the earth, it actually kind of calms down the nervous system, and it kind of brings a lot of our body's levels back down to normal, which is kind of interesting. And I've been doing a tiny bit of it. I haven't done a whole lot yet, and part of that is just because the weather still hasn't been great here. But here soon, as we start getting later into spring and early summer, I plan on trying to do it a lot more on a regular basis. And so that's something you could try. I know I've done some research this year too, where people just talk about simply getting outside in general does all kinds of good things to our body. And we spend so much time inside of our 4 walls and in our cubicles, and I think we all know it's not good for us, but sometimes I think we need that reminder of, hey, I should get outside more. And so, if the weather is good for you today when you're watching this, maybe take some time to go stand outside, take your shoes off, and get some fresh air, and put your feet on the earth and see if it helps. And I will say, from a Christian standpoint, I find it interesting that in Genesis chapter 2, God makes Adam from the dust of the earth, and that we then, and we're now finding that if we go stand on the earth, it's good for us. Now I know that they say it's more about the magnetic field, but I just thought that was an interesting thought, that, the Bible says that we're made from the dust of the earth, and that standing in the dust of the earth is good for us. So food for thought. Anyway, I hope that's something that you're interested in, and maybe give it a try. All right, and the 4th and final method that I'm going to talk about, and this is really not much of an explanation, so I'll keep it short, but there are some medications my doctor recommended, but that is not for me to talk about. I am not qualified at all. But if you happen to be going through chronic fatigue, just know there are some medications out there that they are testing and they are finding some success with. But just talk to your doctor. I just don't feel like that's my place to say. So, have a conversation with them if you're going through it, and maybe they'll find something that works for you. So overall, my trip to California, I thought went really well. I think when I went down there, my family and I, none of us were expecting a miracle in terms of, I'm going to walk in the office and she's going to have like a special shot and she's just going to jab me and then I'm going to be better. That would have been amazing if she did, but that wasn't the expectation. But what I feel like when I left is that I got some more tools to add to my toolbox of different ways to try and boost my health and to continue on this road of recovery. So I feel like it was a good trip. I'm now able to talk to this doctor through, a My Chart account. And I just feel like I've got another person fighting in my corner. I'm actually going to go see my regular doctor this week, and we're going to chat about our trip down there and kind of continue our game plan. So, yeah, I feel like it was a good time. I hope that in this video, some of the things I shared, that they might be a benefit to you as well. And like I said earlier in the video, if you're going through some kind of health issue, I would strongly recommend trying one or two of these things and just seeing if something helps. There's been so many things this year that I have tried and they have not worked. But every once in a while you find that one little thing that does help, and it helps you manage your symptoms and it helps you get just that little piece of your life back. And I think it's very important to stay very proactive in your health journey and stay proactive in trying to find solutions that improve your life. So if you're watching this, just pick something, give it a shot. You never know. I know that my issue is chronic fatigue, and if you're watching this, you may be dealing with something else, or you may be generally healthy right now. But it's never a bad idea to try to incorporate new and healthy habits into our life. So give it a shot. You never know if it'll help and what the benefits might be. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for today. So thank you so much for your time. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing, sharing this video with your friends. You never know if someone's going through something, this may help them. I've seen already in the short time I've been doing this, I've seen so many people be encouraged by the content that we're creating. And so share it. You never know if it might encourage someone. So thank you so much. And my friends, I hope that you are having a good day. I hope that you're continuing to fight the good fight. And take care of yourself. God bless. We will see you next time.